Up next, we have a very interesting panel discussion lined up on AI precision, forecasting future. We will get to know how is it that we can discover how AI uses smart algorithm to look to past data and predict future trends. All this and more thanks to our next set of speakers. Let's have the slide up on the screen as we request all of you all to join us here. If possible, please do take a seat as for the images on the backdrop. Let me present to you Mr. Anirban Guha, Head of Analytics at Aditya Birla Finance. Please do put your hands together as I welcome Mr. Anurag Khare, DGM and Head of Digital Marketing at ION Exchange. Thank you so very much to Dr. Vaishali Kulkarni, Head of the Artificial Intelligence Department and Associate Dean at Academy and Faculty Development at NMIMS University. May I also present to you our moderator. We have with us Mr. Chaitanya, Gogineni, partner at KPMG India. A round of applause for all of them as they step forward and take on the stage. I'd like to invite Mr. Gaurav Duggal, Senior Vice President, Geo Platforms, to please join us on stage and be a part of this very interesting panel discussion right here. All yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back after lunch. Not the best time to be hosting a panel, but the topic hopefully will make up for what we couldn't avoid in terms of logistics. We've had this panel change times a little, but hopefully, we'll have a good conversation today. So the topic today is about predictive AI, right? So while we've talked about AI since morning, so this specific panel is about predictive AI, specifically what kind of use cases we're seeing and so on. And we're very fortunate to have a great panel on stage, which gives us a wide range of perspectives. So we have, Anirban from Aditya Birla Capital, so giving us a financial services perspective. Then we have Anurag, who brings a manufacturing flavor to it. We have Dr. Vaishali from a academia perspective. And we have Gaurav from a platforms player perspective, right? So hopefully a very interesting conversation. To kick things off, we've been hearing about AI since morning, right? And I think for those of you who were there in the keynote, AI is not a new thing, right? It's been around for a long, long time. In fact, in the 50s, in the 60s, when the Apollo 11 moon mission was launched, all that was using predictive AI, right? Because you were predicting the flight path, direction, velocity, all those kind of things. But right now, if you look at the papers, you would feel as if it was invented about 2 years back by, OpenAI, right? So the fact is, it's got a long and checkered history. What is different this time around is that, one, it has become far more accessible, right? Both in terms of the technology and the talent, right? So, for example, the Apollo 11 mission had, top computer scientists who were doing AI. Now, I have my 11-year-old child who can do AI, right? So, it's become democratized. Second thing is talent as well. So, previously, you would need very experienced data scientists and AI engineers to do AI. Right now, with things like co-pilots and pair programming, you can have anybody with a analytical bent of mind is easily equipped to do it, right? So with that, what we see is we'll see a huge adoption wave of AI. That's what we are predicting. We did a quick study in the Fortune 500. If you look at their earnings reports, about 80% of them have used the word AI, right? So this is the management of the top companies in the world who are publicly proclaiming that they're going to use AI in a big way going forward, right? And in the morning, if you've seen, the adoption of AI is moving from just descriptive or diagnostic analytics to more predictive, even prescriptive analytics, where AI can even guide us about what is the next best action and so on. So with that as a backdrop, what we want to do today is to hear from our panel on the stage about their perspectives on AI, what they're seeing as use cases of AI in their respective organizations and their experiences. And also, increasingly, there's a big focus about not just using AI, but what is the benefit of AI? What is the ROI, etc. So again, these are all themes we want to explore today in the conversation. So with that, maybe we'll start with maybe you, Anirban, giving us a flavor of BFSI. Maybe.
So thanks, Chaitanya. So basically, I will try backward, because when you last mentioned the point of ROI, because at least in the Indian organization, people think that analytics is a support function, not a kind of profit-making function. And everyone thinks that we are eating the pie. So my boss, I report to the CRO of the organization, he mentioned that, Anirban, it is not that you will automate everything. It's not a college project. Each project need to tie up with the 4 matrices of ROI. One is either it is business growth, or it is stat reduction, or it is some kind of loss reduction or loss estimation or something like that, or some bit of optimization that eventually will turn up with any of these results. So these clear-cut 4, ROI related things he has written on my goal sheet. And he told me that if any of your projects are not fitting out of these 4, that won't be considered as a project. Your rating or even your team's rating won't fall in that. So I think that perspective is also very much important. So still I kind of argued with him that any analytics team cannot grow further without any research. So he okayed that, but that is also thing that at the end of the day, we analytics people also need to think of that we are here to serve the business goals. We need to understand the business pain. And I know that this much talked 5 classifications of analytics is, first is descriptive, then diagnostic, then predictive, then it goes to, predictive, then prescriptive, and then it is finally the cognitive one that we're thinking of. So this progress, the predictive is actually lying in between. We have gone so far, we have to go much beyond. When I talk about the way the industry is growing, the way the Indian financial sector is growing, because I am being a part of the Indian market now, if I talk about my organization, 2 years back, we have around 44,000 crores book. Now we have 1 lakh crore plus. So this is one example how our organization, being the 4th largest NBFC in India, they have grown. Indian market, when we see that and the way it is growing, I was just reading one of the article, that one of the RBI article was written over there, that India has a total 3.5 to 4 trillion lending market. Out of that, 40% is a personal loan market. And within that, if we see the kind of percentage of customers are coming, they are from Gen Z and millennial. So the people, the customer need, customer choices, the way they are accustomed with. I know this, within this short time, it is very difficult to tell or share all the background analytical work that we are trying to do. But anybody who will be taking the flight today from the Terminal 2, they will see that each post have a personal loan in 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 4 minutes, 10 minutes. So within these 4 minutes, 10 minutes, as a risk personnel, we have to check the identity. We have to check the address, the collectability, whether we can do the collection or not. We have to check the eligibility on the banking and banking information or any sort of other income information. And then accordingly, looking into the risk of the person, we need to finalize the loan eligibility amount and the pricing or the rate of interest. And within this time period, we have to calculate everything and we have to disburse it. So we can now understand, I will just give one context from my previous organization. I was part of Barclays for 13 years and fortunate to be kind of see our current CEO, Mr. Venkat, in front of us in Noida at one point of time. So he mentioned that none of the financial institution at this moment can think themselves as a financial institution or a bank. They need to think themselves as a tech company. And that is the perspective change. I think the very first perspective change is required when we are thinking about bringing artificial intelligence in any kind of organization. Because it is not only, Aditya Birla group itself is a huge group. When I go to those kind of group conferences, I have seen that how each and every unit, be it manufacturing, be it textile, be it fashion retail, how everybody is adopting the artificial intelligence in their spectrum. So obviously I know that the esteemed panel also need to contribute, so I pass it on to them.
No, thank you so much. I think it's well said, right, that every company should think of themselves as a tech company. And as consumers, we underestimate how much is going under the hood. Like you said, every time you click on a loan application button, there's so much going on under the hood, right, to make it happen. And same with every time you navigate on the maps or call for a cab and so on. So I think now switching gears, Anurag, from an industrial perspective, what consumers do not see every day, right? But maybe you could throw light on that as well.
Yeah, so I represent Ion Exchange India Limited, which is a 60-year-old brand. And we are providing solutions for total water and environment management. So right from home water purifier to ETP, STP, DM, and complete zero liquid discharge kind of solutions, EPC solutions. And we are serving across the globe. So if we compare from last 5 years to this upcoming 5 years, so we have adopted so many AI-driven technologies, tools. We are using algorithms. We are using programmatic advertising for basically improving or enhancing our customer experience, to improve our ROI, to overall increase the lead generation, lead management. And we are also using technologies for enabling AI assist chatbots to filter out the right audience or the relevant audience on the website. So the KPIs which we are seeing, which benefiting manufacturing or engineering sectors is like our quality of our website traffic has been improved. Then overall website traffic has been significantly increased. And whatever campaigns we are running from different platforms, omni-channels, so we are getting synchronized results in form of qualitative leads, quantitative leads, and nurturing those leads into the happy customers, good volume of orders, and so on and so forth. So this is the thing which actually this core typical orthodox manufacturing sector was not expecting 5 years back. It was looking like an imaginative thing, but right now it's already, we can say 30-40% we have implemented, and companies like us are already under implementation stage. So this will again benefit a lot.
No, thank you so much, Anurag. I think, yeah, there's a misconception that only B2C companies are adopting AI, but I think on a B2B as well, there's a lot of scope for adoption of AI.
Really?
And like you mentioned, digital marketing, but likewise on the operations, supply chain, there's so many use cases like that.
Yeah. So we are managing our supply chains also, like we are studying, we are using AI algorithms for studying our last year's or last 3 to 5 years order bookings, consumer trends based on festivals, based on water crisis seasons, and that data we are using for our supply chain also.
Right, thank you. I think next up, Dr. Vaishali, we had some great conversation over lunch about how does academia fit in, right? So because this is a very interesting time for consumers, business leaders, and most so for students, right? So I think if you could share some light about how is AI being embedded into the teaching curriculum, the pedagogy, and so on, and what are some use cases that their students are exposed to as part of their curriculum?
Yeah, thank you. So I think I am one of the odd man out here, not only on the stage, but also off stage. But I'm also happy that, academia has been included in this panel discussion, because I think we are the ones who will be providing the workforce for all of the industries. As you rightly said, each segment or each industry has to think about that they are a tech company now. And education is not far behind here. We are also like a tech company over here. So we have embedded AI into many of our processes and also many of the things that we are doing every day, right from the teaching learning process as well as from the assessment part. How do we project the students' performance, the analytics, all these we are using number of AI tools. Apart from that, I would also like to mention that I am from the NMIMS University. Our university was one of the first to recognize the increasing growth in the area of AI. And we started off with the data science program way back in 2013, and the first undergraduate program in artificial intelligence in 2020, which I am head of the department right now. So as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, we have embedded a beautiful curriculum in which we have a dynamic board of studies members where we get inputs from all of you, okay, where we know what is the industry trend, where and how our students should be trained or skilled so that they can excel in their professional lives. But having said that, our role as academicians does not end over here. because we are also constantly a research community wherein whatever new technologies or whatever new domains are there, we are also trying to see that the students have some use cases to work with, or they have some exposure of the live projects in the industry. So we have some collaborations where we work with our industry partners or research organizations on this. One or two use cases which I would like to mention is we have a lot of collaboration in our department with the different hospitals like Tata Memorial Hospital, Nanavati Hospital or Cooper Hospital, specifically because we are based out in Mumbai. And we are working with them on different projects like the cancer tumor detection, survival prediction, or maybe the diabetic retinopathy. These are some of the use cases wherein our undergraduate students are giving a lot of insights using the different AI and ML algorithms. Apart from that, since we are basically focusing on education, we are also working on different Gen AI tools. And as one of the sessions in the morning was mentioning about the personalized learning. So there are a lot of use cases in personalized learning which we are working on as a AI department. So whether we talk about the personalized bots for learning or platforms where depending upon the performance of the student, the modules are given to the student. So some typical examples which I could give is like we are working on a project called DB Shala, which is a SQL grader. So database management systems is one of our course. And in that course, we have some SQL queries which need to be graded. So to facilitate the faculty to do it more effectively, we have this project. Or you know that the large language models now are not great when we talk about the mathematics part of it. They are good at text generation, but not mathematics problems. So we are working on a project called as MathMate, wherein we will be seeing how we can help the undergraduate teachers to solve and get help on mathematics problems. So these are some of the research projects that we are working on, and we have hardware infrastructure to cater to the same, and we are open for more collaborative projects from industry. So thank you.
No, I think some fascinating use cases, right? So like Mr. Gugineni said, for us the biggest asset is data, right? We have 1.4 billion people, and healthcare is a treasure trove of data. So we were all very fascinated to hear about the collaboration they're doing with the Tata Memorial Hospital and so on. So yeah, I think from a maturity standpoint, I think Indian students in academia are pretty much on par with what we're seeing in the West as well. So kudos to that. Gaurav, from your perspective, obviously you have a platform view, right, across industries and use cases. So what are some applications you see of predictive AI, and what's your take on it?
Hi, I'm Gaurav. I'm from Geo Platform Limited. So if you have to solve, I think somebody in the morning said, if you have to solve anything which is at population scale, AI or automation is the only way to solve it. We run platforms at a population scale. We all know that half of India uses geo platforms, telecom, connectivity, fiber, etc., etc. So some of the predictive use cases we do is for consumer forecasting, telecom data forecasting. So certain towers we have to put in across, or certain data connectivity we have to put in across in congestion. All of that is forecasted using predictive analytics. We have been at the forefront of forecasting for consumer demands on retail. Now we have launched finance. So we are also giving up, like other panelists said, loans and unsecured personalized loans. So all of that is using predictive analytics and forecasting. Somewhere people also said that we don't just forecast, we sometimes create the future. So we are heavily dependent on AI. If you go down in Diwali, I think our chairman said that we are launching something called as Geophone Call AI. So you can call a number, it will give you a large language model on call, and it will be on 10 odd languages. So it will be like your personalized secretary, which can be on call. So this is something which we are in works, especially in my team. There is something which is also coming up, which is cloud-based platform for storing all your needs. I think something very similar as Dropbox, so which is also coming up and it will come free for most of Indians or at a very low cost. So that's also coming by. But we are heavily dependent on AI. Internally, we say, for an example, in my team, if you don't, so somebody quoted that AI won't replace you, but the people who know AI will replace you. So we heavily use not Copilot, but something which we have developed internally for helping empowering workforce across board. It's just not about developers. It's about the field force. It's about the customer agents. It's about everything else that people get empowered with these AI tools and in their own languages. So everything is available in all Indic languages, premier 12 Indian languages, to the ground force, to the retail stores, for them to understand consumer needs and use AI as much as possible to become a 10x person or 10x engineer, right? If that's the goal inside, and I think we all should look at empowering each other by using AI rather than just saying that AI will replace us. But I think that's what our chairman says internally. So these are some things we do in predictive analytics, forecasting, and AI in general.
Oh, thank you, Gaurav. I think that's a very fascinating example, right? Because previously, AI was available through servers, then through laptops, and through smartphones, and now even with feature phones, if you could call a number and access LLMs, that's a huge transformational step forward. So, very exciting times ahead. I think we're coming up to the top of the hour, but essentially, thank you, panelists, for sharing your perspectives. We heard a variety of use cases, and I think clearly the mood in the panel seems to be of optimism, and that there's a lot of change which is waiting to happen, a lot of transformation which is coming up. From our perspective, we look at the debate between generative and predictive AI as not an either or, but an and, right? So in most companies that we work with, there is a concept of personal productivity, like the co-pilots and so on, to empower you. Then you have developer productivity, which is, again, pair programming and so on. Then you have process productivity, right? While the first two are good candidates for generative AI, the process productivity is a fantastic use case for your predictive AI, right? So it's a matter of both coexisting and not really having to choose one or the other. Those who choose both would actually stand to gain the most, right? And with that, I'd like to thank the panelists once again. And if we have time, we can take some
Chaitanya,
questions.
if before close, if I can just make
few
points. The thing is that why Indian landscape, I think, we are in a relatively better space because being part of this industry for 2 decades, I have seen, because healthcare and finance are the most regulated part. And when people are actually moving from SAS to Python, because Python is an open source and SAS was not, regulators have huge problem with that. And right now, when we are moving from the predictive AI to generative AI, the similar sort of challenges that we are seeing from the regulators. But when we see that RBI, actually Ministry of Information and Ministry of Information actually came up with one of the circular that every company who are coming up with any of the predictive models, it needs to be part of a repository of RBI. And also, when we talk about the MSME, we are using UPI, but the new innovation that came up, the ULI, the Unified Lending Interface, that is only to serve the MSME and the business loan kind of scenario. And RBI Innovation Hub is very deeply working with this kind of new age technology. So when the regulators are also having this kind of similar vision, the way the industry is looking towards that, I think we are in very right path and very quickly we are going to kind of progress from here.
Oh, well said. I think along with the talent and the businesses willing to invest, if the regulator is supportive as well, then that's a much faster path to adoption, right? So absolutely, well said. I think we can take some questions from the audience if at all, otherwise, yeah. Do we have time for a few questions? Okay.
One brief question will be more than welcome from the audience. Would anyone like to ask a question? We'll pass on a microphone to you. Well, in that case, let me take this opportunity and thank all of you all for joining us. May I welcome you to join us center stage for a group photograph.